Okay, yeah. Southside, yeah. That's where I spend downtime, yeah. I mean it, the rap, I check the podcast for the smoke, yeah. I don't wanna fight with trolls, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are back, Southside Rabbi in the building. Now, listen, if you have not seen Boys in the Hood, what I want you to do is go and turn it on. Great movie directed by the late John Singleton. And if you turn it on, you will see that there is Cuban Gooding Jr. in that film, right? And Ice Cube is in that film.
There he is.
Morris Chestnut's in that film.
Yes, he is.
Now, when you watch that film, you will see that Cuban Gooding Jr. and Ice Cube, really good friends, best friends, in fact. And Ice Cube has beef with some other gangsters in the neighborhood, right? That drove a little red car around. The guy that led that crew, who had on a beanie and a Jerry curl, looks just like KB right now. If you ever go back and look at it, just make sure to watch it and then see it.
And then tag me,
and then tag
screenshot
KB,
it, and tag me.
And all KB is
Rabbi.
missing is the shades, and he will be in that bug. I was just saying.
Damn, how did you know that that's what I was trying to do?
Gosh.
Who told you,
What
bro?
in the world?
How could we be this on one accord?
Oh,
How
my
could
goodness.
it be this one, bro?
I literally didn't even know that you had
Damn,
that.
I looked in the mirror and said, Boys in the Hood.
Yo,
I tore my house up for these glasses.
I'm telling you, listen, it's just the spirit.
Straight up,
It's just the urban spirit.
Banging them corners.
And listen, I'm telling you, you know what? We just gonna have Derek put a picture up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I just thought about that on the spot.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know why, but you still look cool.
Thank you, brother. Let me just say this: I have been diligent in seeking counsel to deal with the ways that Amin has honored me into embarrassment. There's a good book called When Helping Hurts. It's an excellent book.
Oh my gosh!
So what we're gonna do today, given I just got off the road, I'm on my 3-day break. Okay,
yeah, he's you know.
So I didn't get to prepare, which obviously I have to do. And just for the audience, none of his intros are prepared. I actually think through mine a little bit. This man literally, off the top, he pulls it from the heavenly realm, which he has access to.
Oh my gosh!
Paul and Amin,
no,
both have seen the third heaven. He don't talk about it because he doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because the humility thing.
It's because you've seen the fourth. So there's no reason for me to mixture the third. Why would I mixture the? It's like if I pull up in a Porsche, you have a Bentley, I might as well have a Honda Civic.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, man.
I don't.
We're skipping the niceties today.
Yeah, we're going to skip the niceties. Y'all know who this is sitting across from me. I don't got to say nothing. Y'all already know what it is. 4-letter GOAT. So, all I'm saying is let's get into it, bro.
Let's do it, baby.
Because a lot has happened.
Yes. We're on it fast. This just happened a few days ago.
Right.
What are we here to talk about, Dr. Hudson?
I mean, so there's no other way that I can describe what happened except for the slap heard around the world.
It was a slap heard around the world, bro.
And literally.
Yes.
And I'm talking about what happened at the 2022 Oscars with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So for all of you who don't know,
if you are Patrick,
you have to be living under a rock.
SpongeBob.
Right.
Patrick was under a rock.
Oh, he was?
Literally.
Oh,
he
yeah,
had a
you're
TV
right.
down there. He had a chair. There was one table.
So if you are listening to this and you don't know what happened, that
you're
you're
in Bikini
Patrick.
Bottom.
Yes, right. You are Patrick. You are a pink starfish.
Yes.
With some swimming trunks on. So 2022 Oscars, I usually watch the Oscars every year. I love to see who won.
Sure.
And we've seen that this year, what has eclipsed everything in the Oscars in 2022
absolutely
is what happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Yes.
So as we see, Chris Rock was on stage getting ready to read some nominations.
Yes.
And what usually happens during the Oscars when someone like Chris Rock hosts, he's always going to roast people.
Yeah.
As you see, he hosted it before in 2016.
Right.
He roasted people.
Yes.
Usually when they have comedians, at the Oscars.
That's a part of the institution.
It's part of the institution. It's part of what it means to be at the Oscars. Right. They got comedians there roasting people.
Right.
They had Chris Rock there roasting people, Amy Schumer. So Chris Rock, roasting, this is part of the institution, but he sees Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith sitting in the front row.
Yes.
And he says to Jada,
yes,
I can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane, right? Two.
Right. Correct.
Now, I don't know if y'all saw the first G.I. Jane. It was actually a good movie with Demi Moore. The beautiful Demi Moore, who had her head shaved.
She had her head shaved.
But she was still beautiful in the film.
Yes.
And the film was not really about her being a weakling. It was actually about her being bad to the bone.
Uh-huh.
Either way, making a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hairstyle because Jada Pinkett Smith has said, and she's come out before, she talked about this on her Red Table Talk. She's talked about it in the media a lot that she has alopecia.
Yes.
And that she struggled with alopecia.
Yes.
And so that has caused her hair loss, and she talked about her struggle with embracing it and embracing the hair loss that she has. And, you know, she has shaved all her hair off, and she's still a very, very beautiful woman. It's actually a testament to her beauty.
Right.
And so, but either way, Chris Rock saw this as a time to actually joke on her and said, "I can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2." Once Chris Rock said that, Will Smith laughed. Everybody laughed.
Will Smith laughed. And everyone along with him laughed. Right.
Jada was not laughing.
No, she was eye-rolling
and she was like, nah,
lid
bruh.
twitching.
So Chris Rock said, "Oh, you know, come on, that was a nice one, you know, that wasn't that bad, you know."
Yeah.
And then Will Smith gets up. He walks on that stage.
Very calmly.
Chris Rock, he's thinking that Will Smith is joking.
Yes.
So because he says, Richard.
Which we've seen before. We've seen a comedian take a shot.
I was going to say, I said that to my wife the other night. We've seen like a comedian take a shot from the stage and somebody will come up there and act like they're choking them or
steal the mic. That's what we all thought might have happened.
Right.
Or may have been like
I think that Chris Rock was like, I thought he was going to get up there and act like he was punching them.
For sure.
And so Chris Rock says, Richard, because Will Smith just did the King Richard movie.
Got you.
And as soon as he says, Richard, Will Smith, he bought that slap through the galaxy, through the dimension of Independence Day,
yes.
Men in Black 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
After Earth,
I Am Legend.
It had the swag of I Am Legend, the swag of the Fresh Prince.
Yes.
And then the technology of iRobot.
Yes.
And then the Western goal of Wild Wild West. And he slapped this man Chris Rock across his face.
Yes.
And it sent everybody into a whirlwind of shock, awe, and disbelief, bro.
Absolutely. It was literally like watching a pig fly.
It was so...
It was seeming to defy reality. Like, this cannot be happening.
It was so...
It must be a joke.
It was so unbelievable that people thought it was a skit.
Yeah.
That it had to be
Which would have been a brilliant skit.
Yeah, it would have. Except for it was real. And everybody thought that it might have been a skit until Will Smith walked back to his seat. And then he yelled at Chris Rock, "Keep my wife's name out of your bleeping mouth."
Yes.
Chris Rock said, "I am going to do that." And then Will Smith said it again. The crazy thing is, everyone was in shock, including, Chris Rock literally was so shocked that he got slapped that the only thing that he could say is what happened. He said, "Will Smith slapped the out of me."
That's right.
That's how you know he just really didn't have anything else to say.
And
we were like, obviously, we all just saw it.
We saw that, yes.
Worldwide. And so
that's how you know that you're bewildered, when you just have to recount what's going on.
Just recount what just happened. I just slobbered
I was standing
on myself.
here, and then I was slapped. And then Will Smith went back to his seat.
That's kind of how, my boy Jason said Will Smith hit that boy like a TV that didn't work.
He did, bro.
And
yes.
And you know how it is. You grow up in Southside St. Pete. So there's been a lot of reactions to this. This is one of the only times that I haven't seen people bifurcated over this in a way that they are over everything else.
Sure.
In a sense that a lot of times you'll see people bifurcated over an issue that happens based upon their political standing.
That's right. You just retreat to the camp that you're in.
So I've seen people on the left say he shouldn't have done this. I've seen people on the left say he should have.
Yeah.
I've seen people on the right say he should have done it. I've seen people on the right say he shouldn't have.
Right.
I've seen people say that him slapping Chris Rock was a show of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And I've seen people say him not slapping Chris Rock is a show of toxic masculinity.
Right.
It is one of the most diverse
this thing is polarized
takes I have ever seen.
Even
in ways that it just
diverse.
doesn't happen. And it's
I saw
religiously
Christian
diverse.
men condemn the actions.
Yep.
I've seen Christian men
condone it.
Defend it.
I've seen Christian women condemn it, and I've seen Christian women condone it.
This thing is messy, and it really depends where you're sitting. If I can suggest, think that a part of the diversity in reaction comes from the personal trauma of the person who is actually viewing it.
Right.
So how did it land on you? Mm-hmm. So let me tell you how it landed on me, bro. Once I got to the place where I realized it was real, because that took a while. That took about 15 minutes.
Yes.
Slow the video
Maybe
down.
20 minutes.
This has to be a skit.
Yes.
This is SNL.
Yes.
Once I realized that it was real, I saw a 220-pound man that's about 6'3".
Yeah, that slapped the man that was about 112.
In Timberland boots soaking wet with a bubble jacket on.
Man.
One of the things that I picked up on for folks that saw the power discrepancy.
Right.
Economy aside.
Right.
A very large man
slapped a very small man. Right.
Some people felt triggered in that. It felt like what bullies do. Like if you've been bullied, fam, there's a reason why the Diary of a Wimpy Kid has the profile of a small guy.
Right.
It wasn't like two football players, dude, it's the same size.
Right.
You typically target vulnerability.
Yeah.
Which can be, not always, can be, because you ran up on Conor McGregor, it wouldn't have went that way.
Or Jamie Foxx.
Or you think about
Mike Epps.
For sure. You got to think about most of Floyd Mayweather is smaller than Chris Rock. That would have went differently.
That is very true. And
so
still
it's not just simply,
That's true.
It's not simply that you're small.
Right.
But in this situation, there was a dynamic there, fam.
Yeah. A lot of people felt like Chris Rock was a soft target.
Assaulted by someone in front of everybody, bro.
Right.
We need to get to the layer of the appropriateness of what Chris Rock said.
Right, for sure.
Because there much could be said about that as well. But for my initial reaction was a verbal, if you can call it an assault, I think it's okay. It at least smacks of assault-like language, particularly because of the way it landed on Jada, which we can get to that in a second.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But he responded to a verbal aggression with a physical aggression on an easy target. To me, that my initial reaction, it was like a flower, okay? So my reaction bloomed as I learned more of the situation.
I think that a lot of people,
I didn't see G.I. Jane. When I Googled G.I. Jane, I saw Demi Moore.
Right.
And I thought this had to be a joke about her looking like G.I. Jane.
Right.
Nothing else.
Yes, that's the other thing.
Now that's what my reaction was.
Yes.
I don't follow Red Table Talk.
Yep.
I don't follow Jada Pinkett. Not aware of her condition at all. So to me, my first reaction was, this was you bringing an atom bomb to a fruit fight, fam.
Right.
You in a lot of ways did not fight fire with fire.
Right.
Dog, Jim Carrey brings up a good point as well.
Yes.
This is forever.
Right.
Chris Rock will never be unslapped.
And it's also the most infamous moment in Oscars history.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it's going to be forever.
Yes.
But it's also going to be always the biggest and most infamous moment unless somebody tops it.
Yeah.
Unless somebody gets up there and does a Shawn Michaels sweet chin music to somebody in the face. And I don't think that's going to happen after what we saw happen now.
Sure.
So it's definitely something that will always remain.
Ssure.
And
it's permanent, bro.
It's permanent.
Yes.
It's permanent.
Yeah.
And Chris Rock will always have to be seen as the guy that got slapped by Will Smith.
Yes.
And it's two legends too.
Yes, two black male legends.
Two black male legends.
At an award show that a lot of black actors protested just a few years ago.
Yes. That's one of the tragedies of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that Will Packer was like the head producer of the Oscars this year.
Sure.
Black man. Same dude that we saw, I think that is the same dude like that Dame Dash and them had a problem with, but Will Packer, who's actually from where me and KB is from. He's from St. Petersburg, Florida, which I did not know.
Southside. I love that.
So he's the one here. He's like the head guy running the Oscars this year. So it's him, a black man,
yes,
who does black films,
yes,
right, running it. You have Chris Rock there, you have Will Smith there, you have Will Smith winning Best Actor,
which is the biggest award of the night.
All of these it's a lot of black celebration here, and for it to all be eclipsed by this is also its own tragedy because it eclipses everything.
Absolutely.
Literally everything.
Absolutely.
Folks don't remember nothing. Questlove won the award for his documentary, the music documentary he did. That's what Chris Rock was up there to present.
Oh my God.
Questlove won it. Nobody got to see that. Nobody got to really appreciate the fact that Questlove won this
and
Oscar.
Hear us correctly. We're not saying, because folks are like, this set us back as if we were just starting to get
irrelevant.
Individuals being able to recognize the dignity and talent of what it is that non-white actors can bring to the table, whether it's Crazy Rich Asians or if it's Straight Outta Compton, it being recognized by the broader culture,
establishment.
That is not what people are talking about when they say set us back.
Right. They're not saying that the white establishment.
Well, some might be saying that, but that's not what we're saying.
No.
What we're saying is, and a night, as I mean, is just laid out for us, where there was all kinds of celebration that felt like progress for the struggle, in that we were celebrating these moments of excellence and accomplishment. It was all eclipsed. We were robbed of that.
Right.
Everyone was robbed of that.
Everyone.
Chris Rock later apologized to Wanda Sykes. According to Wanda Sykes, she said this on the Ellen Show. He apologized to her for ruining her night.
Wow, for this, I didn't even
Wanda
see
Sykes
that.
said this today on the Ellen Show.
Wow.
He said, I'm sorry that the night where you were to be honored, where think of all the sisters,
right?
And again, the way that they've been systematically ignored,
right?
Not that diminishes them or that they need your approval,
right?
But the fact that there is recognition. That's what awards are.
Right.
There is,
and the Oscars is
praiseworthy. There's a praiseworthiness of winning an Oscar.
Right. Absolutely.
And this was a moment for many individuals from historically overlooked communities to be celebrated, and all of it was eclipsed.
Right.
You are not helping the kind of the narrative, the pathway forward, and it detracts from the celebration, the praiseworthiness that we could have had in that moment, because it was eclipsed by this assault.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think that you're absolutely right. And I think this is something that I said before, and I think it still holds true now, is that the thing about this situation is that there are several true things that we have to hold in tension at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Several true things.
Yes,
it's
sir.
not just one or the other.
Right.
There's several things happening. Number one, a man's wife was insulted.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, I am a person that does not think that insult equals assault all the time.
Yes.
Or insult means that the reaction to the insult is assault. I would hope that our kids would know this, that just because a kid at school calls you a poo-poo face, it doesn't mean that you get to punch him in the face.
That's right.
Or if a kid at school calls your sister a poo-poo face, it doesn't mean that you get to punch him in the face.
That's right.
I want to raise children that will stand up for their family, that will stand up for their siblings, that will stand in the gap for them.
Yes.
I don't think that always means that they need to be physical.
That's right.
Unless someone is physical with them.
That's right.
Or their siblings. I understand people was quoting Proverbs, talking about how a fool's mouth invites a beating and all of that stuff. And I don't think that what Solomon is saying is that this is the paradigm that believers should live by.
Sure.
I think that he's just telling the truth about a principle that one's words can get them in trouble.
That's right.
And that trouble could be physical trouble.
That's right.
We see this being raised in the hood.
Yes.
We have seen words lead to people being killed, not just people being slapped, not just people being punched. We've seen words lead to people being shot, people losing their lives.
That's right.
And I would say that all of that is terrible.
That's right. And what the proverb is doing is anticipating what happens when you cross the line, even with your words.
Right.
Tongues set nations on fire, bro.
Absolutely. The Bible says it. A lot about tongues.
The tongue is, it's
what the tongue
powerful,
does, right.
But nowhere is the Bible endorsing.
Right.
That because you have said something off, that we get to go slaughter your whole family. Right. Even though there have been stories of that very thing happening.
The Bible will tell you about the reality of that fact that will happen in God's fallen world.
That's right.
So watch what you say.
That's right.
Like, because again,
it's teaching you about the nature of sin, bro.
Yes. Absolutely.
Which is a good word for us, which is a good perspective.
Absolutely.
Chris Rock should be careful about what he says.
Yes. Everybody should be.
We all should be careful about what we say.
Because you do not know.
You may bite off more than you can chew.
Exactly. Yeah. You might definitely bite off more than you can chew. And so, speaking of that, I think what happened with Chris Rock is that Chris Rock said this to a man that I believe was at his wit's end.
Sure.
Okay? I think that
certainly
there is I love what D.L. Hughley said when he said, a plane does not crash because of one singular event. He said that there's too many redundancies on a plane for one singular event to happen and then a plane crash. Usually it's several things that are happening with the plane, or one thing happens and it leads to another thing, and then it leads to another thing. And that's that domino effect is what brings the plane down.
Right.
The same could be said for someone that does something like Will Smith just did. It's not just the insult that Chris Rock said, I think, that drove Will Smith to get to the point that he would have walked on stage and literally slapped him in the face. I think that it was a multiplicity of things. And I think that that all gets revealed in Will Smith's acceptance speech for Best Actor, when he won Best Actor for the King Richard film. There's certain reasons why I think Will Smith did what he did. One of the reasons is the trauma that Will Smith talks about in here. Right? Now, if any of you know me, I've said it before, Will Smith is literally my favorite actor of all time. He's been my favorite actor of all time since I've been a kid. Are there greater actors out there? Yes, but Will Smith is my favorite. Right? So I've said that, and people be like, really?
Oh, really? In a world that Meryl Streep lives in?
Well, Denzel, all of that, and Will? Yes, Will Smith is my favorite actor. He's been that way since I've been a kid. That is because of the impact that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has had on me. It's my favorite show of all time. Martin comes second to me.
Viola? I mean,
that's what people say. Martin? Yes, it comes second to me, bro. I like Fresh Prince. So I've been a fan of Will Smith since Fresh Prince. I've watched like all of his films besides 6 Degrees of Separation and Enemy of the State. A lot of people will slap me for not seeing Enemy of the State because it's one of his legendary films. I haven't seen it. First of all, what folks got to remember is that Will Smith had a type of resurgence. He had been gone for a long time, kind of didn't do it after Earth kind of crashed and burned. He came out and said it was a terrible, I couldn't even finish it. And that says a lot.
I didn't think it was that bad, but go
really?
ahead.
Yeah, I'm a Will Smith fan. I literally turned it off. I said, it's so bad, I can't finish it. But Will Smith came out in the interview. He said, I feel like I failed my son. I failed myself with this film. But he kind of went into like a bit of a hiatus after that, and then he kind of started moonlighting on Instagram and YouTube. He started making all these dope Instagrams and YouTubes, got this massive following. Then he started talking about his journey and talking about how he wanted to be more transparent. He wanted to invite people into who Will Smith really was. And then he wrote this book. One that I think that everyone should read. I only have like 3 chapters left, I think. So far, this is probably one of the best autobiographies I've read, and I think that everyone should read it. But I think in reading this, it gives you a lot of insight as to why Will reacted the way that he did. And I'm going to read an excerpt out of it.
Please.
This is actually a beginning of chapter 1, and it's called Fear. It's not a long excerpt. And I quote from the book.
And I quote.
He said, I've always thought of myself as a coward. Most of my memories of my childhood involve me being afraid in some way. Afraid of other kids, afraid of being hurt or embarrassed, afraid of being seen as weak. But mostly, I was afraid of my father. When I was 9 years old, I watched my father punch my mother in the side of her head so hard that she collapsed. I saw her spit blood. That moment in that bedroom, probably more than any other moment in my life, has defined who I am today. Within everything that I have done since then, the awards and accolades, the spotlights and the attention, the characters and the laughs, there has been a subtle string of apologies to my mother for my inaction that day, for failing her in that moment, for failing to stand up to my father, for being a coward. What you have come to understand as Will Smith, the alien annihilating MC, the bigger than life movie star, is largely a construction. A carefully crafted and honed character designed to protect myself, to hide myself from the world, to hide the coward. That is how the book starts. And what you will see in this book is that string of Will Smith feeling like a coward is a line that runs through every chapter in this book. That Will Smith, there's even a part in there where he talks about when he was actually, before he was a big actor, he was a Fresh Prince, that he was so tired of people seeing him as soft and he didn't want to be seen as a coward, that every time that he was in a club or in some kind of, spot partying or whatever, and someone even looked at him wrong, he would punch him in the face. Fighting every time. Security always breaking him up, stuff like that, because he did not want to be seen as weak. He did not want to be seen as a coward. And one of the main things that you see in here is him talking about the trauma of him feeling like a coward when it comes to protecting the women in his life that he loves. That's one of the biggest things that you see in this book is Will Smith is saying, I'm constantly trying to hide and protect the coward. And I'm also trying to overcome being a coward.
Sure.
And I think that is a large reason of why you see Will Smith initially laugh at the joke.
Sure.
And then when he looks at Jada and sees that Jada is not laughing, there is this, what I would say, and I know people are going to want to debate this, an overreaction.
Sure.
Where he gets out of the seat and he finds that what he needs to do is walk up to the stage and strike Chris Rock in the face.
Sure.
In front of millions of people.
Sure.
And I think that a part of it is Will overcoming the coward. I have to protect the women that I love. I have to protect I failed my mother at it. I failed all of these times at it. I'm not going to fail tonight.
Right.
I'm definitely going to achieve it tonight.
Yeah.
And that causes this overreaction
Wow.
of him doing something that he should not have done.
Sure. That's
and
so
he's
good.
come out and apologized and said that he should not have done it.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And so, and
hold that in tension.
so we have to
Will
hold that
Smith has
intention.
come out and said,
I was wrong.
I should have done that. So
I reacted emotionally.
So for those who are defending
Right.
what he did,
He's not defending.
He's not defending it.
Right.
Because there is a level of psychological expertise you need to speak into
Right.
what is actually happening behind the face of Will Smith. I mean,
Absolutely.
like, we can't play armchair therapists.
Right.
However, I can think about things in terms of how I would feel. Because I am thinking the internet, in which a lot of ways is a metric for where you are in terms of your market value, where you're standing in the culture.
Especially when you're a celebrity.
Yes. I'm a person of influence, but I'm not a celebrity. But I think about even folks that I'm aware of who are in my life who have notoriety or perhaps celebrity status, the sensitivity, bro, to what people are saying about you.
Right.
How you can read 99 comments
Right.
of affirmation.
Right.
And read one of slight disapproval and feel like I'm in the wrong field.
Right.
Question your whole existence.
Right.
It's not beyond the pale of possibility that along the way, that the way in which we as a culture have handled this very transparent, vulnerable space. You know, I'm not going to be your meme all the time, fam. I'm not going to constantly be the punchline on your joke.
Right. I cannot imagine that Will Smith, over the years in which all of these memes have been, out about him, that he has not felt that none of that has not touched him.
Facts.
And that none of that has not had any effect on him.
Facts.
I think that he shows that once again in what he says during the speech.
Acceptance speech.
That's
good. Tease that out.
And so in the acceptance speech, he says, I know to do what we do, you got to be able to take abuse and you got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you and you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. That's what Will Smith said.
Yeah.
A lot of folks look at Will taking that acceptance speech and they say, yeah, see, because he got up there and he said, Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family.
Right.
And in this time of my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling me to do and to be in this world. Making this film, I got to protect Anjanae Ellis, who is one of the most strongest and most delicate people I've ever met. I got to protect Sonya and Demi, the two actresses that played Venus and Serena. I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people. So he is standing up and saying, what Richard Williams did as a protector is what I got to emulate in playing him, but it's also what I did tonight. That's essentially what he's saying.
It definitely insinuates that.
And so some people see that and they say, yeah, defend. See, he up there. That's what I'm talking about. Defend your woman.
Yeah.
And they see this strong man that is making a case for why he slapped the mess out of somebody that was disrespecting his wife. But I don't see that.
Say that, brother.
I see a broken man.
Yes.
Who is unraveling before all of us on camera.
Yes.
But he is so intelligent. He's so intelligent that he can spin the unraveling. Will Smith is great at this. You'll read this in the book. You'll see it. He's very good at not breaking down when he's breaking down. He's very intelligent. That's
the genius of who he is.
That's the genius of why he is who he is.
Yes.
He is he's very intelligent and very astute, and he's able to spin what is at his breakdown into this immaculate, great kind of speech that gets people fired up. Yes, defend. Yes, I don't think that that's what was happening. Ooh. Will Smith, in my opinion, was breaking down and unraveling before us, but he's so smart and astute and adept and intelligent that he can spin it to make it look like he is strongly accepting this speech, and he's giving this warrior speech of standing up and defending God is calling me to be a river to my people. That's what makes Will Smith Will Smith.
Yes.
If that was anyone else that did not have that kind of giftedness that he has, they would have melted.
You would have objectively seen
what I think we saw was a meltdown.
Yeah, say that, bro.
But it was a meltdown of an intelligent, adept, self-aware person that was able to spin the meltdown into gold, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Will Smith who he is.
Yes,
and he's also charismatic. He's had that gift since he was a kid. You read it in a book. Will Smith used to play a game with his mom because he would be so good at spinning stories to make them seem real that they would play a game and his mom would have to guess if they were real or not. Wow. And sometimes she couldn't. But a lot of times she could, but other people couldn't. Yeah. And I think that as an adult, with all this experience, all of this, everything that he's gone through, he can do the same thing to everyone who was watching that speech, bro.
Wow.
I don't think that's just me. So me and Hudson talking. I don't think that Will Smith was in this strong, I'm in defense mode. Yeah. I think that he was in spin mode and he was having a crisis on stage.
Yeah.
And then also we have to hold in tension the disrespect and the pain and the hurt that Jada could feel.
Sure.
Because here is this beautiful woman who's had her hair all her life. We even see what the Bible says about a woman's hair being her glory. In some sense, the scriptures even make it clear that hair is like sacred to a woman, especially as it pertains to their beauty.
Sure.
It's something that is sacred to a woman.
Yes.
When women go bald, it is not like us going bald. It's not. I'm sorry. I know it can also be a crisis for us too.
Sure.
Especially if you don't have the best shaped head like me.
But there's a social
but
there's a social dynamic.
There's a social dynamic in which is not the same. You can see bald head men all the time, and you know what I'm saying? But and then there's women that have short hair that look beautiful.
Sure.
With their short hair.
Right.
Which is also a testament to their actual beauty.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that hair makes you beautiful or not beautiful.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that if a woman wants her hair, yet she's losing it.
Yes, come on.
She cannot keep it.
It feels like a part of herself is
It feels like a part of her beauty is disappearing. Right?
Yeah.
And so and Jada talked about it.
That's a good point, bro.
And
I'm even thinking about in terms of not to mansplain it, but like I'm hearing that even now, thinking about how cavalier I've been with my hair. I've cut my hair a billion times throughout my life.
Right.
It's been short. It's been, it's been long.
Right.
I've had bad haircuts.
Right.
I've had patches. I've had all kind of weird things happen. But it's a different thing if this happens in a woman's life, fam.
It's like a man losing his strength, bro.
Yeah, fam.
I feel like it's like a man losing his strength and he's wasting away. He's getting weaker and weaker and skinnier and skinnier.
Sure.
It feels like it takes a shot directly at of kind of who God has made you to actually be.
Sure.
I think that women were made to embody beauty.
Right.
And a part of their beauty, like I said, it's not the only thing.
For some women,
but for some women, that's what I'm saying. For some women, and I think scripture makes it clear that hair could be a sacred thing.
It can.
But I think that even when women cut their hair, it's a sacred type of thing.
That's right.
That's why they make the decision. It is their decision to cut the hair. This is how I'm cutting my hair because I want to cut my hair. It's still this sacred relationship with beauty.
Wild, man.
Hair has a type of language to this beauty that women have.
It's almost like it has roots, pardon the pun, to the soul.
Yeah.
I'm right now studying spiritual formation, and Dallas Willard talks about the
Shout
soul.
out to Dallas Willard.
Dallas Willard is the man.
He's the man.
But Dallas Willard talks about the soul being marked by a few things, but at least two things. Mm-hmm. One is creativity, to be able to create your existence.
Right.
The other thing is choice.
Yes.
Being able to choose for yourself what it is that you will do or you will not do.
Right.
Choose the pun again. The will.
Right.
Is emanating from the soul. And to have the will to keep your hair but not being able to execute it
right.
can cause a bit of a crisis.
Yeah, because it's ripped from you.
Yeah.
The will for you to do what you want with your hair is taken from you. And so in a very real sense, I feel like you can feel like it's you're being robbed.
Yeah.
So I understand. It's like a robber robbing me, and you are making fun of the fact that I got robbed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
This is why I believe, this is KB talking, I believe that a part of love is sensitivity.
Absolutely.
A part of what it means to love somebody is to not say, what I said was objectively not offensive, bro.
Right.
That's half of the story. It's not what you said alone.
Right.
It's also how it landed on the object of what you said.
It's context.
The context matters. So meaning, I think about the Guadalajara slap that Canelo Alvarez had with Caleb Plant.
Great example.
At their face-off.
Two boxers, Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant, they were having a face-off at a press meeting before their fight. This is what happened.
They're having a heated debate. These press conferences typically go that way. You say something about me, I say something about you. Wait, you're going to find out and see you're going to feel something different. You're not going to talk to me like that, blah, blah, blah. Wait, and they typically start to get ruffled up, and then people get in between them,
right,
and then they push back. But nobody typically gets hit.
Right.
Typically.
Right.
This particular day, Caleb Plant is standing in front of Canelo Alvarez's face, and he says, you wait, you mother. Canelo Alvarez is just now learning English, which is great.
He doesn't know, which
is great.
And his English is getting good.
His English is getting real good. Right. We know it, because that man is cussing all the time. Anyways, Canelo heard that phrase and thought that Caleb was suggesting that he would literally have relations with his mom.
Right.
And he became enraged to the point that he did something that he's never done before. He struck his opponent, which could have literally ruined the whole fight.
They could have called off the whole fight.
They could have called the whole fight, millions of dollars out the window.
He injured the opponent. He cut him.
That's right. He cut him.
And he cut him seriously. It wasn't a small cut.
Yes, he did. The cut was still on his face at the fight.
Yeah.
What happened there, and they made up, they reconciled by God's grace at the end of the fight. And Caleb apologized and said, simply, that's not what I meant. I lost my mom. I would never say something like that to hurt you and the relationship that you have with your mom or suggest something crazy. I didn't mean that at all. Canelo received the apology and said it was all good.
Right.
And it was an understanding that transpired, but the context was different for each of them.
Right.
So for Caleb, this was just words for the win.
Right.
For Canelo, he heard you assaulting his mom.
Mother.
Now the question becomes, was what Caleb said as offensive as the reaction that Canelo responded with? That's the question. In the nuance here, the loving, the sensitive thing here is, the answer is yes to both of them.
Right.
Caleb didn't mean what he said, but what he said had teeth on it because of the context in which Canelo was dealing in.
Right.
And it hurt Canelo.
Right.
Canelo should not have slapped him, not condoning that. But I'm speaking to the level of pain that the word caused.
Right.
Meaning that your joke may be benign to you, but that does not make it benign.
Right.
And it makes me think about what the Proverbs says. The Proverbs say that it is the reckless man who uses his words in a way that hurts people, and at the end of it say, I was only joking. That's what the scripture says.
It's like throwing fiery arrows.
It's like throwing fiery arrows and then saying, hey, was I not just kidding? You might truly be joking, but the arrows still pierce the skin.
It burned me.
And they burn.
Yep.
So we do not need to simply ask what you intended or what you said. We also need to care about how it landed in the context of the object of what you've just shared.
Yes, and man, that's so good because the context matters, as you said.
Yeah.
And so as we were talking about, we see this is the context in which it lands on Jada.
Yeah.
Jada, who has been very publicly open about her struggles with alopecia, is most likely feeling like she has been robbed of a piece of her beauty by her hair falling out of her head.
Yeah.
And here Chris Rock makes a joke about her hair, and it feels like you are making fun of the fact that I got robbed.
Yeah.
That's like me getting robbed at gunpoint, and I'm traumatized by it.
Yeah.
I've been on my podcast openly having tears.
Right.
And then you make a joke about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna find that very funny. I actually might find it very triggering.
Yes.
Right? And so you have it landing on Jada in this way, ironically, from a comedian who actually made a comedic documentary about black women's hair called Good Hair.
Yes, he did, sir.
And so this is how it lands on Jada. So Jada, in my opinion, had every right to feel
Yes.
the way that she felt.
Yes.
I don't know if Jada would have wanted Will to go up there and slap Chris Rock.
Yes.
But I do know that Jada was hurt by what he said, because when I saw her face, I remember when I watched it for the first time and they showed Will and Jada and I saw her face, I got upset.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, look how hurt she is by this.
Yeah.
Look how upset this makes her, right? Will Smith, as a broken human being who has all of this trauma around not defending women that he loves, he does the little Hollywood joke, looks over at his wife and sees that she doesn't find it funny. And I think that in his mind, he sees that she's in pain. He sees that she's hurt. I think that Will Smith did the wrong thing for the right reason. I think that he wanted to defend his wife's honor. He wanted to make his wife feel like, I am here for you.
Yeah.
I am going to defend you. No one gets to talk about you like that. And I think that he got up and he did what he thought was the best thing to do at the time.
Yes.
But I think that it was a man that loved his wife, that loves his wife furiously,
Sure.
and did the wrong thing for the right
With the right
reason.
intentions,
His
yeah.
intentions, I think, were good.
Sure.
I want to defend my wife's honor. I
That's
want
right.
her to also feel protected.
That's right.
I want her to
You are
feel like
safe with
you
me,
are
baby
safe with me.
girl.
Nobody's going to try you.
Right.
And I think that reflects, even when he sits down, he says, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. I think that all was him saying, no, this is, I got you.
Yes.
Nobody, you don't get to talk about her crazy like this.
Right.
I don't think that was the way to do it.
Right.
Will doesn't think that was the way to do
Sure,
it. Now that we know.
Yeah.
And so, and
Which is also encouraging.
Yes, and also we understand, well, from what I've heard, that Chris Rock, told Charlemagne from Breakfast Club, is that he didn't have any idea that Jada was dealing with alopecia.
That was my sense too.
Yeah.
I think that Chris Rock is also legendary enough to know what boundaries shouldn't be crossed.
Right.
I think he had enough respect. I mean, he started the comment off by affirming her and how much he loved her.
Right.
So I thought,
And I think that Chris Rock and Will Smith are friends.
yes,
May not be best friends, but
yeah,
they're not complete strangers, I don't think.
that's why I'm saying, bro, like, it just reminds me the book of James, where James says, the anger of man does not produce the righteousness that God requires.
Yeah.
Because it's good for us to remember God's provision around how you should respond with your anger. That you should be angry, but don't sin with it.
Right.
It's trying to protect you,
Right.
like all of his commands.
Absolutely.
These provisions are protective.
Right.
Derek, our producer, said that you can forget that one of the ways that cowards deal with situations where they are attacked or they feel attacked, they do respond
Right.
with a over response.
Right. It was kind of like you actually became what you said that you didn't want to be.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you basically fell into the pit that you have been talking about is there. There's a pit there,
Right.
and you jump right in that mug.
Right.
And when I weigh the kind of the dynamics of what happened next to the scripture, I'm just reminded, fam, that if we could, in our anger, hold this provision that God has given us, don't sin.
Right.
Be angry,
Sin not.
but don't sin in it.
Right.
Perhaps there could have been a moment where Will could say, yo, I'm backstage with Chris, or it could be immediate, fam. I know the show is just getting started. Chris, I need to talk to you right now. I'm going to get up, walk with you. As soon as you walk off stage, I'm going to walk. Because
Right.
obviously he has free agency there.
Oh, absolutely. Because
that
he
is wild.
definitely didn't get arrested.
Fam, I was at-
or kicked out of the venue.
Man, I had a show 2 weeks ago. This drunk dude got on stage, man, and was up there for 60 seconds. It felt like 10 minutes. And I'm literally thinking, so cats can just walk up on, we in the arena. Mugs can just walk up on stage. This man's like, all right, yeah, woo. And I'm sitting here, I sent you the video.
I didn't look at it. You must have sent it to me and I didn't see it.
I think I sent it to the group text.
Oh, I gotta look at it.
Fam, I'm sitting here staring like, he's still up here. Hook done came in, verse done started. This man's still standing here. So I was like, yo, there's some real gaps in the security right at this venue. But obviously, there's some gaps at the venue at the Oscars as well.
Yes.
Well, I guess part of it is that you don't think that an actor is going to come up and do something like that.
Yes, right.
So I'll give them that. But since he has free agency, that he can walk on stage whenever he wants, you can follow Chris to the back, man.
Right.
And say, bro, what you said was wild offensive for these reasons.
Right.
And I'm going to address it.
Yes.
And I'm going to address it the way you did it.
Right.
Publicly and verbally.
Yep. And I'm gonna demand an apology from my wife.
Yes. And I expect an apology from you tonight,
yeah.
fam. So he could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
He could have, again, let me also give this one caveat as well. This is not an issue of what we would have done if we were in that situation.
No, I'm not saying that this is an issue of what we would have done.
We don't know what we would have done in that situation.
I might have smacked Chris
in
Rock.
that situation,
right.
fam. We have no idea.
Right.
It's not even, I appreciate, because I used a hypothetical when we were talking about this on Twitter. But I say touche to those that are like, man, there's a million different hypotheticals. Those are often unhelpful. Right. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I would have done in that situation, but I'll tell you this. I know what I should do in that situation.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And it's the talking about what we should do that prepares you for when you are in that situation.
Absolutely.
This is what they did in the civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. They didn't just show up at the lunch counters, fam.
They actually reenacted.
They rehearsed it.
They rehearsed getting slapped, getting called
from
the
white
N-word.
men and women.
Yep.
So they were preparing when the camera was off.
Right.
For what they were going to do when the camera was on. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is what we want to do on Southside Rabbi, part of spiritual formation is practicing when the camera's off.
Right.
By talking about the truth of the situation, believing it, getting it down in your soul. First of all, shout out to Keith Kiesler, who brought this to my attention on another issue. Mm-hmm. We should lean over to our Jada and say, what do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Message.
What would you like to see done right now?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I want to do. I want to walk on stage right now and slap him in his face, and I'll do it. I'll burn this whole night for you. I'll burn this whole place down for you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do? I think we want to start there.
Mm-hmm.
If Jada's beside herself, maybe she's too shy, maybe she doesn't have something to say. I think the right thing for him to do, fam, was to have a conversation with Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't get to have that conversation with Chris Rock, you are Will Smith. Mm-hmm. You are going to get an opportunity to address the world. It could be on
absolutely,
Instagram.
Yeah.
It could be, if your Instagram is the Oscars live TV, fam.
Right.
You could go live right there. You could you got an interview. You just want to be you're nominated for Best Actor.
Right.
You want to be on the media circuit. You could literally make it a point, bro, for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Raise tons of money for alopecia.
Right.
You could have a campaign responding to what Chris Rock did in the manner in which he brought the insult.
Right.
Which is with your words.
Right.
And you are one of the best wordsmiths, pardon the pun,
right.
Smith, on the planet.
Right.
And in that, not only would the victory be yours and the honor belong to your wife, you would shine light on a much bigger issue that includes women all around the world without detracting from this wonderful night of celebration of Black excellence and artistic excellence.
Right.
That, in my estimation, should have been the response. Mm-hmm. With much grace, much mercy, because we cannot appreciate to the level that we should what celebrities are going through, bro.
Absolutely. We don't know what it's like. And I think that there's several other things to consider. I mean, I know that some of the other arguments have been, the arguments that I've seen perpetual arguments about y'all are not defending black women. All y'all that think that Will Smith was wrong for what he did, it's because y'all are not defending black women. Black women get this is exactly what we expect. Of course y'all don't think that he should have did that because this is just it's
patriarchy,
right? It's patriarchy, or this is one of the symptoms of how much y'all hate black women.
Bro,
listen,
fam.
I can defend black women and so can black men without assaulting another black man who didn't assault you. Now, I've seen the argument go around that the words was assault. It was verbal assault or it was emotional assault. I get that.
Sure.
I get it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
But it's fair because it was verbal assault in context.
Right.
Meaning if he would have made that same comment about
Amber Rose.
Right. If he made that comment about her, same exact thing.
Right.
Looking forward to seeing you in G.I. Jane 2.
Yeah.
Without the autoimmune disease in context.
Right.
It doesn't land as hard, fam.
I could understand if Chris Rock was saying she looked like a man, she looked like a turtle, she looked like Shrek, she like Big Rames. If he was, that's cruel. That's that. Like that goes to it being extreme. I'm not saying that it wasn't cruel what he said, especially in context of the disease.
Yes, but I think you just have to remember what I would want the audience to remember.
Right,
is that we could take a page out of our legal system here. I think.
Yeah.
If you a hate crime. Involves intent. You can do the exact same thing, exact same context, exact same offenders, right? But if the intent was hatred, then the way we prosecute it is different.
It's different. Absolutely.
It doesn't clear it though. It
doesn't clear it. We don't say it's,
I didn't mean to kill you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why it's manslaughter.
Yes, but there's a difference between manslaughter and second degree murder. Right. Or a hate crime or a run-of-the-mill crime.
Right.
All crime is probably inspired by some kind of hate.
Right.
But we understand the difference that the intention to injure matters.
Right.
Even when we talk to each other.
Right.
When we have to reconcile with one another, a part of when I come to the table with an offense, I've been hurt, I'm in tears. A part of what I'm looking for in your response, I want to latch on to that. Maybe this was partly caused by he didn't know or she didn't know.
Right.
And if they knew better, they would have done better.
Right.
That should shape us, bro.
Right.
It can't be, it can't simply be. Intentions do not clear us. They justify nothing.
Right.
But intentions do matter.
Intentions does give context.
It
doesn't clear us, but it does give context.
Facts.
You also got to take into context who Chris Rock is. When have you ever seen Chris Rock make jokes out of cruelty?
Facts.
That's another thing. He may have made some jokes that sting. They sting a little bit.
Yes.
But I've never known Chris Rock as a cruel comedian. There's cruel comedians out there.
They're there.
We know that there are some cruel comedians. I've never seen him joke, especially about his own people, in a way that's him trying to be cruel. I'm trying to stab you. You know what I'm saying? There are several ways to protect black women.
Yes.
And I think that for all of the women that are saying, if y'all disagree with Will slapping Chris Rock, it's because you guys hate black women or whatever the case may be. I think it's ridiculous because one of the things that you have to be aware of is sometimes there are other black women that don't want you to defend them like that.
Right.
There were black women that said if Will Smith was my husband, I wouldn't want him to slap Chris Rock.
Facts.
So are we making what it means to defend black women a monolith? There's a one-dimensional way to do it.
Come on, man.
If somebody disrespects a black woman verbally, he got to get slapped or he got to get punched. This is another thing that you got to think about. I know a lot of women say, I would want my man to do that. Praise God, amen, if that's what you want. But one of the things you also have to remember, this is one of the things that I think that we need to take from this, is that your man is not Will Smith.
Come on, sir.
So this is the thing. Will Smith is an A-list elite celebrity. It was actually scandalous that he was able to do that and not be removed from his seat at the Oscars
that man wasn't
arrested.
in jail?
Or arrested. Now, a lot of people say, well, he wasn't arrested because Chris Rock didn't choose to press charges. That's true. But in L.A. County, if the police see a clear assault, regardless if they press charges or not,
that in Florida too.
Yeah, you can still be arrested.
It's on camera. We saw you do it.
All saw
I don't need the witness of Chris Rock.
I don't need Chris Rock to press charges.
This is a state issue.
It's clearly assault. The state could come in and say, hey, bro, you're going to jail.
Yes.
Right? And so, or there's going to be some kind of punishment here. There's going to be some punitive action taken. So that's the case. Will Smith is an elite celebrity. He probably got to skate it because of that. But if your man assaults somebody on the street, that brother's going to jail. Or if your man assaults somebody on the street, the brother might not come home because I've also seen. I'm just being honest.
Hey, listen to this.
From where I'm from,
take the advice.
Not even just where I'm from. I've seen it. I'm a 2A guy. I watch a lot of self-defense 2A videos. You don't have to be from the hood for this to happen. I've seen people slap someone, physically assault someone, and that person that they assault kill that person.
Yes, fam. Yes.
And I can hear people right now saying, "Well, I want my husband being willing to die for me."
So
touche. But do you want to take your husband away from his children if y'all have children, or you want to take your husband away from the earth simply for a moment in time for him to slap a man or hit a man that said something verbally to you?
That did not touch you.
That did not touch. If he touched you, it's a different story.
Different conversation.
If he touched you, hey, bro, you could kill you. I'll be willing to die.
Or if he looks like he's about to touch you.
Yeah.
If there is violence on the horizon or in present, it's a different conversation.
Absolutely. And I think that at times that could be from words, right?
Yes.
So if I'm walking by and if me and my wife is walking by a group of individuals and a man said, "Hey, man, I'm about to grab shorty right now, take her to the alley," and then in my mind, okay, this seems like you are verbally saying violence is about to take place.
You are forecasting.
If I walk by and you say that my wife, who has very long locks, if you say my wife looks like Predator,
oh no, you didn't.
Then I mean, touche, bro. You look like freaking Bob the Builder. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I may throw a zinger back at you. You know what I'm saying, or something like that.
Yeah.
But if for me to haul off and then say, "What did you say?" and hit you. Man, not only can I put you in danger, I can put my wife in danger.
That means that it's more about you than it is about your wife.
It's more about me than it is about her.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you have to, is it about you or is it about her?
Yes.
Because now I can put her in danger.
Yes.
I don't know what you're going to do to me. If you put me down, you can put her down. What is going to happen to her?
Now she's here alone. With all of y'all.
I think that there's so many things, right, with all of y'all. So there's so many things that have to be considered, that there are several ways to defend women.
Right.
There are several ways to defend black women.
Right.
The only way is not to slap another man. I'm just saying that to my sisters that are saying that, hey, y'all hate black women and all that stuff. That's why that's going to become a slippery slope.
Facts.
If y'all want to start going there.
Facts.
Because, again, there are other black women that would have said, "I don't want." My wife told me I would not have wanted you to do that.
My wife said the exact same. I asked, because preparing for this podcast today, my wife and I talked about it. She said,
"Right,
I would never, ever, ever want you to go do what Will Smith did.
Yeah,
never." And here's the moral of the story. Will Smith said himself that he was wrong and he shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Unless you're going to say he's saying that for PR to save face or something like that. We all agree that was the wrong decision, fam.
Right.
And look at the fruit of it. Measure what happened by the fruit that followed. It literally took away what could have been one of the most brilliant celebrations of black women.
One of the best Oscars that could have for black people ever.
Again, qualified. Not saying that we need the Oscars to give us anything.
No.
Or to give black people. I'm saying
but
us,
the reality is we were there
actors.
And our work was there on display.
That's right.
And it was being celebrated, and that eclipsed everything. That's just the reality. And there is the possibility that Will could lose his Oscar.
Yes.
And that's his first. And also, he took away the night for celebrating himself. That was his first Oscar.
Really? I did not know that.
That was his first Oscar.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for somebody to get an Oscar, bro?
Right.
And now he actually even puts that in limbo.
Yeah.
For himself.
He may lose it.
It's literally one of probably the biggest moments of Will Smith's career. It's probably one of the biggest accolades that he could ever get as an actor.
Facts.
And he's been an actor for a long time.
Yes.
He's kind of on the downside of his career, and he gets an Oscar.
Yeah.
Doesn't get to really celebrate it because it's eclipsed by the infamy of what he has done.
And that's
the shame of it all.
And it is the shame of it all, bro. And bro, all I could think of, bro, is in real time, we saw two verses come to life. We saw Turn the Other Cheek come to life. We saw that
a quintessential
HD, 4K. And we also saw that, man, the anger of man, bro.
Yeah.
Does not
it's like a fire.
produce the righteousness that God requires. be angry, but sin not. What's the wisdom in this, Jesus?
Yeah. We see the reality of it.
When you disobey it, you can find the fruit.
Right.
And it's rotten, bro.
Man.
Brother, give us a final thought, kind of tie this up for us and let these people go.
I think that for us, when we look at this situation, I think, like as KB said, we can learn from it. We can learn the wisdom of the scriptures when it talks about the anger of man. We can learn from what it means to be sensitive to people's condition, their brokenness, where they are. And I think that we can learn that, man, a lot of the times anger is like a fire.
Yeah, bro.
You can set it, but sometimes the danger with anger being like a fire is that fires can get out of control very fast. Yeah. And you can think that you can contain it. You think that you can just keep this fire in one place and it can end up burning a whole house down, bro.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the things that I want us to be mindful, I want us to all be keeping everyone involved in prayer, because let us remember that Will Smith is also not just a product for us to poke and prod on a podcast.
Straight up.
He's not someone for us to just examine. Neither is Jada, and neither is Chris. They are human beings, and they are all broken, and they are flawed. And for the mistakes that Will Smith made, we have made the same kind of mistakes too.
Facts.
Let us hold that intention.
Yeah.
But I want us to keep in mind that we are all broken individuals.
Yeah.
That God is for the believer.
Yeah.
Sanctifying. And that what we want to see is that those who are broken, who don't know God, have access to a God and to the Spirit of God, who is the counselor and the comforter, that can start to counsel, give that spiritual counseling that can start transforming one into a person who is made whole. For all of Will Smith's vulnerability and all of Will Smith's transparency in his book, he is still broken.
Say that, bro.
And I think that for all of us, what we can see here is that our brokenness is something that we carry with us, but our hope is in a God who can heal the broken, man.
Come on, brother.
Who can heal the broken.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I mean, that sums up everything. And as you were talking to, I think that it's just good for us to also be convicted by this as well. Mm-hmm. We're not safe, bro. We're not safe to ignore Jesus on both sides.
Right.
The scriptures say it's a man's glory to overlook an offense. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you just bury the issue.
Right.
What it means is that you're willing to deal with it in a way that is righteous.
Right.
At least attempt.
Right.
Most of
At
us
least
are going to
attempt.
fail, fam.
Right.
You're talking crazy about my wife. I'm probably going to fail.
Right.
But that's a testament to my weakness and cowardice,
Yeah.
not to my faith in Jesus, and certainly not a testament to my manliness.
Right.
Manliness looks like meekness, which is power and control. This has been Southside Rabbi. Just want to shout out the CSB version of scripture, one of our favorite versions of the Bible, readable, very, very accessible, a solid translation. That's the official translation of our church, actually. So they are a proud sponsor of our podcast, and we are glad that it is that way.
CSB activity.
Check out the website below to learn more about how you can get one of these in your hand. So Samaritan Ministries is a community of Christians paying for one another's medical bills without the use of insurance. It's a really encouraging ministry that my wife and I have used. In fact, we delivered our second baby using this ministry. It's affordable and you can join today. We are very, very grateful to have them as partners on our podcast. So check out SamaritanMinistries.org/Southside Rabbi. I am K, the second letter.
I'm Amin the Dream. And look, make sure that y'all like, share, subscribe to the Patreon. On YouTube, when you look at this on YouTube, please do us a favor and hit that like button at the bottom and subscribe if you want more people to be exposed to the truth that we are trying to deliver to y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
We need that like and we need that subscribe. And we need y'all to share.
Thank you so much for your support. We have seen exponential growth. 2022 has been good to us thus far, although A lot of stuff happening. But we here
Yes.
to pray and wage spiritual warfare on your behalf.
Right.
But we just want to say thank you so much for the ways that you've supported us. Keep on doing so. Every like, every share, every comment is a helpful alley-oop to the algorithm that furthers the cause of our podcast.
Alley-oop to the algorithm.
We love y'all. Peace.